All right, welcome to the first part of Show Me News, episode 74. On today's show, it's kind of a different show because we have two very special guests here to interview. We're coming off the heels a couple weeks ago from YomaCon 2010 that we went and did some media coverage there. Well, unofficial media coverage, whatever. So I got Cyberlink 420 here. Welcome.
Glad to be back. Thanks for having me.
So we, hung out at the hotel and all that good stuff, and so our special guests today were guests at YomaCon 2010. First of all, we've got friend of the show, last appearance on Show Me News is episode 48. When this is Kirbopher. Welcome back, man.
Yes, I'm back again after how many episodes?
Oh my goodness,
70-something.
So many, and it's like almost a year.
It's been about 30 episodes.
Like, it's been a year and a half or so.
Is there still a debate about Meta Knight being playable happening, or is that long since been decided?
I think they're trying to talk it over, but it's still at the point where
it will never end.
Yeah, nobody's wanting to make
end.
a move because it's
just tell them Meta Knight blames the yarn. They'll get it.
There you go, dude. That game is amazing.
It is.
So happy.
What is going on?
Cute.
And our other special guest new to the podcast, LittleKuriboh, creator of Yu-Gi-Oh! Abridged and more. Welcome, good sir.
Oh, I thought the two special guests were Kirbopher's testicles.
Yeah,
but
that's right. Lenny and Squeaky, they're very happy to be here.
You named them?
That's right.
Yeah. No, I named them.
Yeah, I was gonna say. that was a very
beautiful.
Seductive night at Otakon.
Mm-hmm. Well, we guys really thank you for coming on the
How
show.
do you think you got guest status?
Yeah, totally.
There. Now it comes out.
There you go. Well, we wanted to ask you some questions today about some YomaCon questions. We had some for you, and we also wanted to talk about your current projects that you're working on. Obviously, you have some ones that you have worked on in the past, but we want to talk about the ones you're currently working on. We are a video gaming podcast. We want to touch a little bit on some of your gaming likes and dislikes and all that, and then we have a few fan questions for you. So we're hoping for about an hour here, and we really thank you for your time. First question I want to ask you regarding YomaCon 2010. We know LittleKuriboh, you were there last year, and I met you there. It was fantastic to meet you there. And it wasn't your first anime convention in America?
That was my first time guesting at an anime convention in America. Yes.
I gotcha. Okay.
Okay.
But we want to know what the story was behind Kirbopher deciding to be there this year, aside from Martin naming his testicles.
Well, it's kind of interconnected because I went because Martin really wanted me to go. I was planning on going last year. I was going to see if Crows could work some stuff out and get me to go. And it seemed like it was going to be fine, but then for some stuff that I won't talk about here, it didn't work out, and I missed out last time. And Martin really, really wanted me to go this time because virtually everybody was going.
Right.
And I really would have hated to miss out on it, and so we worked a couple things out, and I managed to show up this time. And next year, after meeting up with Morgan, the con chair, and working with Rebecca and Shannon, all the convention staff who were great. They were so awesome. Worked really hard the whole weekend. Morgan might have me come as an actual, like a real guest next time instead of just like, hi, I'm just gonna be on this panel now, which happened a couple times throughout the weekend. I had a guest pass because that's kind of how it works, but
right.
Yeah, but I had an actual one that would be labeled on the site and everything. I think that might be the case for next year. So
Well, you never know, Kirb. You might have more under your belt next year, so you might be going regardless.
Yeah, I keep my fingers crossed because that would be nice. So yeah.
Mm-hmm. No, it was great to see you there. To really be honest, and an honor to meet you both. Really.
Yeah, it was great meeting you guys. I mean, like Kirb said, the main reason that he came was honestly that virtually everybody else was going to be there, and if he was the only one that didn't go, it would feel like almost but not quite perfect,
Mm-hmm.
So I wanted to make sure, that at the very least he got to experience what it was like for us the year before.
Absolutely.
And it absolutely was, especially Sunday. I was just talking about on my blog yesterday, on my Newgrounds blog, about how the absolute highlight was the tail end of the Yu-Gi-Oh! Abridged panel.
Absolutely.
Between the friendship symbol and the tears and the singing and Jesus. So that was
not so much the singing.
Yeah, we could have prepared on the singing just a little more, but I mean,
I just assumed that the most downloaded iTunes song of all time would be known by everybody, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, I started up. I mean, not to point fingers, but Lanny came in with Vegeta, and I was like, that's not the right. In fact, I noticed when I watched the video, Crows comes over and tries to stop him from singing that verse. That wasn't in yet, and I was like, no.
Mm-hmm. Now we'll definitely talk more about the Yu-Gi-Oh! Bridge panel because it was truly special, and it was the last thing that we went to, and it was a perfect cap off to the event. Cyberlink, the next question.
All right, next question. What was your favorite panel you attended that you weren't hosting?
We didn't really get to attend that many panels. I mean, I didn't get to attend any panels that I wasn't actually hosting because I was just it was busy. I didn't get to go to the dealer's room. I didn't get to really check out the Artist Alley until the last day where they were packing up. So I literally didn't get to do that much in the way of actually enjoying the convention aside from just going around talking to people. I mean, and I don't have a problem with that. I honestly, before like the Yu-Gi-Oh! Bridge thing happened, I didn't really go to conventions, period, because I'll be perfectly honest, I don't know that much about anime. I'm not really that ingrained in the culture or anything like that. I go to conventions for the people and just hanging out, and that's what I got to do at this convention, and that's what I love doing. So I didn't really feel the need to go to the panels because while I think it would have been cool to go to the Persona panel or something like that because I love those games.
Right.
I really don't know. I mean, I don't feel like I'm part of that. I don't know.
I briefly, only because we were setting up for the Yu-Gi-Oh! Panel in the same room right after, I went to Caitlin Glass's panel.
Yeah.
And, I mean, I think most of the experience we had outside of doing our own stuff was really kind of like in the green room where we were hanging out with some of the other guests. Another highlight for me on Sunday as well was drawing with Brad Swale because he's a graphic designer.
Nice.
We were just sitting back kind of shooting the shit and sketching different little random things. And Caitlin showed up for a little bit. I didn't get to see Todd very much this weekend, but I see him like every weekend practically, so that wasn't a huge loss. And then we also got together and we watched the DVD in the Team 4-Star Suite.
Nice.
We watched the DVD of Takahata 101's first professional voiceover role.
That's right. Yeah.
Oh yes.
And Brad Swale and Christopher Robin Miller, who was a total bro, by the way.
Absolutely.
They joined in on the fun, and that was pretty cool. So
you mean you didn't see the room in that suite?
No, unfortunately, it sucks because we wanted to watch The Room, and I wanted to watch Yu-Gi-Oh! The movie with everybody and just like rip on both of them and have a good time and laugh. Because there's nothing quite like watching a shitty movie with friends.
Exactly. Yeah.
If you want a good movie for that, go for The Machine Girl because it is literally the cast of Yu-Gi-Oh! Ripping each other apart for about 2 hours.
Oh, is it all the same? Is all the same actors?
All the same actresses except Brina Palencia on the lead. It is fantastic.
Oh, what? Wait a minute. How does that work?
I don't know. I think Mike Sinner Nicholas directed it and just brought her in or something.
Let me check that. Well, you talk, Martin. I'm gonna double check that.
I don't know what to say.
I had mentioned, when I met you, Curb, that I was wondering if you were going to the Pokemon panel after the 5Ds panel, and I'll just say that it was.
I did.
Did
stop
you?
For 2 seconds and said, "Hey, I have voice on the show. Do you guys want me to do something to help?" And they're like, "Oh, that's cool." And I'll just we have our own sort of setup and everything, and I didn't want to kind of screw up their whole routine and everything. So
dude, it was bad. I know I'm saying what was your favorite part, but no offense to those people, but it was terribly run. They were misinformed. They said it was.
What they say?
They said it was you start they asked what was the first generation or the first games that you played, and 98% of the people raised their hands for Generation 1, red, blue, and yellow. And so then they start explaining how to play the games. It's we know how to play the games, and they were saying oh yeah, you have fire, water, and leaf types.
Yeah.
And then what was the thing? They were talking about the other games in Generation 3. It's you have leaf green and ruby red. And
Ruby
then
red.
Yeah, you were mentioning, Curb, on your Twitter that you hit it when people talk and interrupt the panel. So they just didn't have any sense of crowd control. It was a complete mess. So
Yu-Gi-Oh! Panel wasn't much better.
Yeah, that's rough. Well, you know what? And at the same time, I probably wouldn't have been able to say much anyway without getting in trouble. So I don't think I and a very
Yeah.
helpful person involved in the panel anyway.
Yeah.
So I guess it was no big loss. But
I was amazed how small the Yu-Gi-Oh panel was.
Yeah.
well, because it
Right?
was Yu-Gi-Oh panel and not the Yu-Gi-Oh abridged panel. So.
Well, even
Still.
so, last year at Youmacon, the Yu-Gi-Oh panel had a pretty big room.
Well, and also they had Wayne that year, didn't they?
I guess.
Yeah, that's
I guess,
true.
But
'Cause,
at
yeah,
the same time, yeah.
I mean that panel, the Yu-Gi-Oh panel that we went. I mean, technically we were on that, but the Yu-Gi-Oh panel was really just for like the people who had been keeping up with episodes of 5Ds in Japanese.
Mhm.
I was trying
Really?
to
Because the program said that it was for all the series.
yeah,
Right.
that's the impression
But
I got
mean,
too.
the rare times I've ever been to like panels about specific series that are fan run, it is always like what's the latest thing and not like the overall picture. I tried to make it more about the overall picture, like I was asking questions and opening up discussions about stuff regarding the entire series, but I don't know. People were like, "Oh, 5Ds, 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 5Ds," and I'm like,
Yeah, it did seem a little 5Ds heavy.
I don't know anything
were you
about
there?
Sorry, guys.
Yeah, we were both there.
Yeah, we were in the,
Oh,
the
right,
front
sorry.
row, so
All right.
with as
I
small
was
as
the
it
dork
was.
hiding behind a camera.
Did you get the feeling that it was kind of chaotic?
It was more like I think the others were trying to like share what they had, and then they might have been getting a little frustrated. And then the other guy who joined, I can't remember his name. Like he had
Oh,
the guy who was the translator.
Oh, Hiroko?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
Like I mean, he knew a lot too, but I think maybe the others were just like a little disappointed that maybe they felt a little overshadowed, or whatever.
Yeah.
But,
I
like,
felt bad.
It was enjoyable. Like it was really
Yeah.
informative.
Oh, okay.
I gotta say though, the funnest part of the entire weekend was the elevators.
Yes.
Oh.
Well, let's
Right.
talk about the elevators. Like, what was your longest wait in some of those elevators?
Oh man, I never had any super long waits. People started figuring out the I guess you could say the cheat codes, quote unquote, of getting through the elevators in the sense that like, oh, just go up to like the 40th floor, and then take the other elevators to go up, etc. And it kind of it was a little weird.
It was either that or like go down to go up or go up to go down or
and
something.
then the stairs were banned. It was pretty weird.
It's funny. I actually got stuck in an elevator on like the last day where I had to ride up to the 70th floor and then back down to the ground. And who should I get stuck in the elevator with but Christopher Robin Miller?
There you go.
Dude's awesome.
Yeah, there was one. The most interesting thing that happened in the elevator was when they had the security guards in there, and by that point we knew the formula of like people were, despite the fact that the elevators were way overweight and people were not allowed to come back on them, people would still force their way in anyway because I don't care, I'm tired of waiting. There was a security guard who physically pushed a woman and her daughter off of the fucking elevator because they were like, no, I'm gonna come on, I don't care. Like, no, I said no, and then just pushes them off. They're like,
God.
okay, jeez.
And then there was like the army guy too.
I didn't see the army.
He was like in like an army T-shirt and he was like all buff, and I don't know if he was like working staff, but he was trying to like do crowd control or whatever at the elevators too. It was
My favorite elevator moment came on the Monday, actually, after the convention was over and everybody had gone home. It was just me, Kaiser, and Masako hanging out, and we rode the elevator down to the lobby to go get in the car and leave. And there was a construction worker in the elevator with us, and as soon as we got out, I was heading through the door, and I turned and I said to the other guys, I'm still in convention mode, because I was thinking to myself, that's the best Team Fortress cosplay I've ever seen, because I thought he was an engineer. And they both looked at me and said, I was thinking the exact same thing.
Nice.
Now, were you guys in like the high-rise elevators? We had like a room on the 49th floor, so we still had to.
We were scattered all over the place.
I had a room on the 9th floor, so I didn't really have to worry too much.
Nice.
Yeah, you could take the stairs if you snuck.
Yeah.
I was I don't even remember what floor it was. I was on the lower rise, and then Team 4-Star was lucky because they were just walking distance from the
Right, but they weren't lucky in the sense that they were all in one room.
Yeah, it kind of sucked.
Mm.
But they seemed to work with it pretty well.